Using Search and Play is quite easy. When you first launch it, you'll always see this screen which has all my contact information and a little description about what is allowed. Basically, I allow anybody to use this. If you're going to make money with it, however, you need to contact me and get my permission. Otherwise, you're free to use it, including for broadcast, anytime, anywhere. Anyway, you just click here to actually get into the Search and Play app, so let's do that. Now, if it opens up and you don't see anything in this section here, this will list everything that you find that matches your search criteria. You actually do the search up in this box right up here. Once you've done the search, it will present you with a playlist. You see here, this doesn't, although this belongs to one, it's not in the list, so you can ignore it for the moment. But once we type in a search, let's just type in Miller, see what we get, and I hit return or the enter key, or you can just click on do this search to make it work. And then you'll find in the list here everything that has Miller somewhere in the name or description of the show. You can see here where every time that the word Miller shows up, it's highlighted in red. So what this smart search does is it not only counts up the number of matches and indicates those here in this hits column, but it also takes into account whether or not the name showed up in the show title, which gives it even more emphasis because obviously the show is going to be about that. And then also in the theme, it gives it more there. So that's why it's a smart search, because it really will try and find the best solution for your search. Now, if I were to type in Glenn Miller, you can type in more than one word. That would probably narrow down the search a little bit, because as you can see now, Glenn Miller is highlighted here, and the most times it shows up in any one show when written like that is 4 times. So sometimes it's better to use fewer words, but if you want an exact match, go for it. Now let's try another one. Let's try Carmichael. Let's see what we get. Okay, now I must have misspelled that, so let's try it again. Carmichel. Let's try that. Nope. Okay, let's try Hoagie. I'm probably just misspelling his last name. And you'll see that you'll get shows with Hoagie Carmichael in it. And you'll notice that often, here's the right spelling. So if I wanted to search for that word, I could. By the way, you can click into this, and then you'll see a little scroll bar. So if you don't see everything in the playlist that should conclude with the word end, then just click inside, and then you'll get a little scroll bar here so that you can scroll up and down. Let's see if we have any others like this. This one says fade out. It may say fade out instead of end. Now the other things that you can look at when you're looking at these, not only does it find what you were searching for, but then over here it tells you a little bit about the some of the other attributes that Fred assigned to the show. So he considered this one to be mostly relaxed. More relaxed would be laid back. And so it kind of goes from the most relaxed up to the most up-tempo. So when you see one of these little radio buttons pressed, that's letting you know that that's what Fred assigned, in his opinion, to that show. Now down below that, you can see that in terms of vocalists, you can see whether the show is in this case, it's mixed vocals and instrumentals. Sometimes it'll be primarily featuring a male vocalist or a female vocalist or a group. And so Fred indicated that here as well. Finally, you can look down here. This is going to get even a little bit more into it. If there are a lot of vocals, like if a show features just one particular singer throughout most of the songs that are played, then we indicate that here. So you'll know that it's going to be a primarily vocal show. If it's about a composer, primarily about a composer, then you'll see that checked as well. The same is true for sidemen, whether it's about a band leader, whether the show would fit into a jazz set. And then heavy jazz is one that Fred uses because some of the radio stations that would carry Swing Thing did not like honking saxophones or, wild jazz riffs. And so Fred would indicate if the show contains that kind of material by checking yes. That way they can avoid those if they want, or they can feature those if they want. The odds and ends section down here, what that is rather than having a show based on a single theme, it's just, Fred kind of pulling discs and playing them, based on basically whatever mood he's in at the time. The shows that have odds and ends are really good if you are a radio broadcaster, for example, to fill up the rest of an hour. Each of the shows are typically around 48 minutes long, which allows for 12 minutes of commercials in the show. Commercials are normally inserted whenever Fred says on Swing Thing, and that occurs at these points here where it says like commercial cue. So if you don't have enough commercials to fill an hour, you can always fill with odds and ends, and you can just break out of one of those without spoiling the show for your listeners. So the idea here is that you just look and you'll find what you want, and then it'll give you a show number right here. So if you have the Swing Thing library for iTunes, you can then look by show number to find that show, or just listen to it right up here. We have a built-in player. And I wanted to show you that the player can work for you in several ways. Right now it says use one external window, but if I click on that, I can make it play in this window. That would be where it says player window right there. Or you can have more than one external window. That way you can have several different shows that you can just click to start playing, that you kind of picked out in advance. So let's just start off with playing this window so I can demonstrate how that works. Once you've selected a show down here, like I'll just choose this one, you just click on Start the Show up here.
Hoagie Carmichael.
So you can see it comes into this player right up here. Now if I were to leave this playing,
Choice.
then choose another show,
Beginning with Les Brown and Butch Stone,
and click play,
There's a lawyer and an Indian too. Needs a doctor,
rare
lawyer,
but
Indian
well
too.
done. Some curiosity.
can you tell we've got two shows playing at once? And that can be a little confusing. And it's a little hard to kind of find out where you were. So that's the reason.
Rare but well done.
So that's the reason that I gave you this. If you want to open up several shows, maybe you're just auditioning several, and then later on you'll pick which one you really want to listen to. You can use either one external window, and if you do that, it'll pop up a little window like this that has the show in there.
Rare but well done.
And then if I were to now go back and pick a second show, and you'll see that this one says rare but well done, which is what we were just listening to. Now when I click on Start the Show, this window changes, and that way you don't have two playing at once. But it does take up a little extra space on your screen, which is why I also gave you the internal monitor option. Now the final way that you can use this is to click up here and go for Use Many External Windows. What that will do now is if I click on a different show and go Start the Show, it opens another window. Now you can have as many of these little windows with as many shows open as you want, and you can just go to whichever one you want to listen to, click on Start the Show. You see, and it'll toggle between whichever one you've chosen. So that's Search and Play. It comes in very handy for finding shows, and there's a lot more to talk about. We'll talk about that in other movies, but for most users, Search and Play is what you will normally use, and that's on this tab right here, the Smart Search List, which will automatically open whenever you first launch the Search and Play app.